I froze the second I stepped through the door. My own mountain lodge, the one I bought with my money, my hard work, was glowing with Christmas lights, laughter, and the sound of clinking glasses. And there she was, my sister, Melanie, standing by the grand fireplace, holding a glass of wine like she owned the place. "Oh my God, look who finally decided to show up," she said, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. Everyone turned to look at me, our cousins, family friends, even my parents, all dressed up, smiling like they'd been invited by her. Not me. Before I could even process what was happening, Melanie added, "Don't mind the mess, everyone. My lodge wasn't supposed to host this many people, but I guess we can make it work." My jaw tightened. Her lodge? I felt a wave of anger and disbelief crash over me. Before we go deeper, make sure to hit subscribe, drop a like, and share this story if you've ever been underestimated by family. You're about to see something they never expected. I took a deep breath and walked further inside, pretending to smile. "Interesting," I said slowly, scanning the room. "I didn't realize ownership changed hands while I was away." The laughter faded instantly. My father cleared his throat, looking uncomfortable. "Rynex," he said softly, "your sister just wanted to host the family Christmas this year. She's been planning it for months." I glanced at the massive Christmas tree, the one I'd personally picked last year, now covered in glittery ornaments spelling, "Melanie's Mountain Christmas." My blood boiled. Melanie smirked, clearly enjoying the attention. "Well, someone had to step up after you disappeared to find yourself, right?" she said. The crowd laughed. I clenched my fists under the table. She had no idea that while she was posting filtered selfies and pretending to be successful, I was silently building something massive, a private tech brand now worth over $30 million. I'd kept it all quiet, wanting peace. But peace, it seemed, wasn't something my family ever respected. "Disappeared?" I said finally, my voice steady but sharp. That's one way to say I was working 16 hours a day to build something real. But I guess you wouldn't know much about that, huh? Her smile faltered for just a moment, but she quickly recovered. "Oh, please, Rynex, you've always exaggerated your projects. We're all just glad you're finally back to reality." The words stung more than I expected. I looked around the room, every single person avoiding my eyes, pretending to sip their drinks, pretending not to pick sides. Same old story. They'd always doubted me, laughed when I failed, whispered when I struggled. But this time I wasn't here to blend in. I was here to reclaim what was mine. I stepped closer to her, lowering my voice just enough so only she could hear. "You can play your game for now," I said. "But remember one thing, Christmas isn't over yet." Her smile stiffened, uncertainty flickering in her eyes for the first time. As I turned away, I noticed something strange. A stack of papers on the table behind the Christmas tree. Legal documents, my lodge's name printed on them, but Melanie's signature right underneath. My heart dropped. She hadn't just hosted a party here. She was trying to take it. I forced a calm smile, grabbed a glass of champagne, and raised it toward the guests. "To family," I said loudly, locking eyes with her. "And to surprises, the kind you'll never see coming." Everyone cheered, clueless about what was really happening. But Melanie's face said it all. She knew I'd seen the papers, and she knew I wasn't walking away quietly this time. Inside, my mind was already racing. I had just one night to prove the truth, and to make everyone see who the real owner of this house was. The moment the guests got distracted with the music, I slipped away from the crowd and headed toward my office, the one place Melanie never dared to enter. But when I turned the handle, my stomach dropped. It was unlocked. Inside, all my files, deeds, and confidential papers were gone. The drawers were empty, the shelves cleared. The only thing left was a note sitting right in the middle of my desk. In Melanie's handwriting, it said, "You should have stayed gone." I gritted my teeth, anger rising like fire. She'd actually broken into my office. She wasn't just pretending anymore. She was taking everything I built. I quickly opened my laptop, praying the hidden hard drive still worked. But when I tried to log in, the password had been changed. I typed it again and again. Nothing, and that's when it hit me. She had someone helping her. Someone who knew my systems. I stormed back into the living room, where she was laughing with my cousins near the fire. "Melanie," I said sharply. The room quieted. "Where are my documents?" Her smile froze. "What documents?" she asked innocently. "You know exactly what I'm talking about," I said, walking closer. "My ownership files, the ones that prove this lodge is mine." She shrugged and sipped her wine. "Oh, those? Maybe you misplaced them while you were busy chasing your tech dreams." Everyone chuckled. Everyone except my mother, who looked nervous. She knew something was wrong. I caught her glance, and for a moment I saw guilt in her eyes. Then Melanie leaned forward, smirking. "Relax, Rynex. No one cares who owns this place. We just wanted a nice family Christmas. Don't ruin it like you ruin everything else." That sentence, "ruin everything else," hit a nerve, because that's what she'd always said when we were younger. Every time I failed, every time I tried something new, she was there to laugh first. But this time, I wasn't the same person she used to mock. "I won't ruin anything," I said calmly. "In fact, I'm going to make this Christmas unforgettable." Before she could respond, I walked over to the main table where the sound system was connected. I plugged in my phone, and within seconds the TV lit up, showing a series of pictures and emails I had secretly backed up months ago. The crowd turned to look. The images were from my email account, but every transaction, every wire, every fake document she'd created was there too. One by one, the photos flashed on screen. Forged contracts with my signature. Bank transfers made from my stolen business account. And even a recorded voice message from her lawyer arranging the transfer of property. Melanie froze, her face draining of color. "Where did you get that?" she stammered. I smiled coldly. "You should have checked for my backup drive before you changed my passwords." The room went silent. My father stood up, his voice shaking. "Melanie, tell me this isn't true." But she didn't say a word. Everyone's eyes were on her now. The perfect sister, the family's golden girl, caught red-handed in front of everyone she wanted to impress. I stepped closer, lowering my voice just enough so only she could hear. "You wanted to take my life, my lodge, my peace. Now I'll take your mask." Her lips trembled. "You can't prove anything legally," she whispered. "Oh, I can," I said. "And tomorrow morning, the lawyer you hired will get a nice little email. From me." Her expression shifted from shock to pure panic. She looked around, desperate for someone to defend her, but no one moved. Even our mother turned her face away. The night went on in awkward silence. People quietly started leaving. The perfect Christmas she'd planned, gone in a single moment. But something inside me still felt uneasy. She was too quiet, too still, and when I went back to my office later, I noticed something strange. My security camera light was blinking red. When I checked the feed, I saw it. A figure entering my office hours before I arrived that night. And it wasn't just Melanie. It was my father. My hands trembled as I rewound the footage, my heartbeat sinking with every frame. It was definitely my father. Same posture, same watch glinting under the dim light. He was holding a folder, flipping through it like he already knew what was inside. Then a few minutes later, Melanie walked in. The two of them stood face to face. I turned the volume up, praying the microphone had caught something. And it had. "Dad, she's going to find out," Melanie whispered. "She won't," he replied coldly. "By tomorrow, everything will be transferred. Once the papers are signed, she's out of the picture for good." I froze. Transferred? Out of the picture? He wasn't just helping her. He was leading this. I sank back in my chair, staring blankly at the screen. The man who taught me about hard work, about trust, about integrity, was planning to erase me from my own life. All the tension, all the subtle distance between us over the past few years, it suddenly made sense. For a long minute, I just sat there, breathing in the kind of silence that feels like drowning. Then I pulled out my phone and took a deep breath. If they wanted a war, they picked the wrong person. By morning, I had already sent copies of the footage and all the documents to my lawyer. I didn't wait for breakfast or excuses. I packed a single bag, locked the lodge, and left. But before I drove off, I stopped by the gate and took one last look back. At the house that had once felt like home, now filled with betrayal. A few hours later, my lawyer called. "Rynex," he said cautiously, "the transfers they attempted have been frozen. But your father, he's filed a counterclaim. He's saying you forged his signature." I laughed. A hollow, bitter sound. Of course he did. The battle had just begun. That night, as I sat alone in a small cabin near the lake, I got a message from an unknown number. It was a photo of my father and Melanie, smiling at a dinner table with a man I didn't recognize. The caption read, "You think you've won, but we're just getting started." I stared at the screen, the image glowing in the darkness. I knew that face. The man sitting beside them wasn't just anyone. He was my business partner. My chest tightened. "So that's it," I muttered. It was never about family. It was about money. But deep down, I knew something bigger was unfolding. Something that went beyond stolen property or fake documents. Someone wanted me destroyed, and my family was just the bait. And this time, I wasn't going to run.